everybody, and welcome back to Weather for Weather Geeks, the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video. It is mid-December, and it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't look like it, does it? We had changeable weather, of course, over the weekend with a lot of wind on Saturday. The peak gust at the airport was close to 50, and then a calmer day Sunday with a gusty breeze, but we had lots of sunshine, and that trend continued today. Let's look at today's numbers officially at the Youngstown Warren Airport in Vienna. 50 was the high today, 32 the low this morning. Averages are 39 and 26, not even close. Back in that very warm December of 2015, we set today's record high of 63 degrees. The maximum gust at the airport today was 24. It was a little bit breezy at times, but of course nothing like we had 48 hours ago. High-resolution visible satellite from the low-orbiting MODIS satellite today. This is a satellite that's only about 400 miles up, and on a crystal clear day like today, it's always good to check this out and see what we can see. And it's hard to find any snow at all. If you look really carefully, there's a little strip of snow in the snow belt in southern parts of New York State. Otherwise, yeah, your eyes drawn to Lake Erie, of course. A lot of sediment still stirred up after the tremendous winds over the lake Saturday and into Saturday night. Otherwise, yeah, just a brown December landscape out there, but it's not often we have just a bright and sunny cloud-free day in mid-December. And we had one yesterday, and we had one today. We'll have a fairly cloud-free Tuesday coming up tomorrow. Maybe a few more fair weather clouds in the afternoon. We just had just enough cirrus approaching from the south today to make for a pretty vibrant sunset a little before 5 p.m. today. This is our Boardman camera, and we got just enough cirrus pushing in. We got some nice color right there around sunset, 5 o'clock or so. And the days, of course, are short at this time of the year. We only have 2 more minutes to lose before we start gaining daylight. We're at 9 hours and 15 minutes of daylight today. We bottom out at 9 hours and 13 minutes of daylight, coming up at the solstice, coming up in a little more than a week. And then gradually, and I mean gradually at first, we start gaining daylight. We gain 4 minutes between December 21st and the first of the year, but that process, of course, accelerates as we head deeper into winter and into the spring season. A lot of times, meteor showers are kind of fickle and unpredictable and kind of overrated, to be honest. But time and time again, the Geminids here in December are one of the most reliable and best meteor showers of the year. It's too bad it falls during December and not in the middle of summer when it's nicer to be outside. But this peaks tonight, and the best chance or the best time to check out the meteors will be after the moon sets, which is going to be after 2 a.m. So you have to be a night owl or an early morning riser to see the best viewing. But the sky will be pretty clear most of the night tonight with just some cirrus clouds around. At its peak tonight, you might be able to see up to 60 meteors per hour. Like a lot of meteor showers, this can be long. If you're looking for meteors, there can be long periods of boredom followed by a couple of minutes of wow! You might see a whole bunch in a couple of minutes, and then you might go 10 minutes without seeing a single other one. So they can be a little bit frustrating, but the weather's about as good as it's going to get in December to check out the Geminids tonight. You might be able to see some as early as about 10 p.m., but again, the best time will be after the moon sets, after we have that light source gone from the sky. And look at any part of the sky. Maybe your best bet is to look north, but I wouldn't worry too much about the direction if you're going to try to check it out. Just a few cirrus clouds pushing in tonight. The weather is quiet here locally. All the action's out west. Just a fire hose of moisture coming to California today with tremendous rains across the Central Valley of California and up into the Sierra Nevada mountains. The snow is piling up fast and furious. Just a tremendous amount of moisture plowing into the west coast. Usually when the west is that cold and stormy, the east is the opposite. And yeah, another nice day coming up for tomorrow. High pressure is just to our north tomorrow. Compared to today, maybe not quite as pristine of a sky in the afternoon, but still a good deal of sunshine, no complaints. Cloudier day coming up on Wednesday. I think there can be a passing shower or two. I could have drawn 2 warm fronts on the map today. One pushing through Wednesday, but the more significant one is off to the south and west on Wednesday. That'll push in Wednesday night. And in between the warm front and the approaching cold front, a lot of Thursday will certainly be warm and not particularly wet. Yeah, there could be a passing shower or two, especially in the second half of the afternoon. But a lot of Thursday will be rain-free, and temperatures will make a run at a record. The record's 61 Thursday, set in 1984. We might flirt with that before the afternoon is through. All right, Christmas is coming up in 12 days. We're under 2 weeks now, so we're getting more and more confident in the overall general pattern heading up to Christmas. Daily forecast details are still a little out of reach. But I talked about this some last week. Our historical odds of a white Christmas, an inch or more of snow on the ground Christmas morning, is 45%. I would put our odds right now at between 10 and 20%. Last week I had 10%. I'm a little more optimistic this week that we have at least a chance of seeing White Christmas this year. Tonight's run of the European Weeklies, I said last week when I talked about the European Weeklies, hey, we may not believe this because it was a very warm run last week, taking us all the way through mid-January, and I said there's reason to be skeptical of that. There's a lot of reason for skepticism, and not all that surprisingly, tonight's run is quite a bit colder, which makes sense given what's going on in the atmosphere and the oceans as well. And as we head towards Christmas next week, this is not a cold pattern. We're not going to see, temperatures in the teens around Christmas. But the pattern becomes a little less warm right in here, right around Christmas time. The cold is still centered in the west, but it is a little more favorable for cold in the east in the run-up to Christmas. Then as we transition into January, again, today's run of the weeklies, is quite a bit colder than the previous run. So take, for example, here in mid-January, we're talking the dead of winter here, like the 11th of January through the 18th. Compared this run to the previous run is above my head, and the current run is over here. So you'll notice it's a lot colder than that previous run was, and so that makes sense to me. And I do think that compared to the average, January is likely to be much colder than December. That may not be saying much, considering how warm December is proving to be. But I do think that January has a chance to be much more typical of the winter season than December, which is turning out to be quite balmy. Some model data for White Christmas chances here. We're looking at the European Ensemble model, and it's 51 members. Ensemble modeling is where you take many, many flavors, in some cases 51 flavors of the same model. And what I mean by flavors is you have the base model, and then the initial conditions that go into that model are tweaked a little bit, and then run again, and you see how much those little tweaks end up influencing the outcomes that it predicts. If you see a big spread in those outcomes, then you have low confidence in the forecast. If those tweaks did not result in a big divergence of outcomes, then you have a higher confidence in the overall forecast. Anyway, what we're looking at here is basically all 51. The first few were cut off at the top of the screen. I apologize, but maybe let's see if I can resize this. See if I can resize this a little bit so you can see all 51. There we go. And basically there's 51 members of the European Ensemble, and about 11 of them are still predicting an inch or more of snow on the ground Christmas morning. The mean, or the average, for the morning of the 25th is down here at the bottom of the screen, exactly 1 inch. Now, a lot of members are predicting nothing on the ground, but there are a few. There's one that has 5, and one that has 8, and one that has 5. That drives up the average. But at this point, only 11 out of 51 have that inch of snow on the ground. So I think our odds are still below average for a White Christmas, but they're not zero. And in fact, they may be a little bit better than it looked like they would be last week. That'll do it for me tonight. Thanks for watching the Monday Evening Weather for Weather Geeks. I'll catch you back here on Tuesday.